Right, so we've got Morgs Online and Smokes Media in this morning. We've got two. It's funny one, this one, because we were actually doing the whole podcast on actually when to grow up. And when you do watch this video back, you'll actually see that both of them are fully hanging out their arse from last night. Morgan's got some broken sunglasses on. Josh is pretending that he's a rapper. But yeah, I wanted to kind of, when it comes to Sunday, we've got obviously some really, really big kind of clients coming in later, but I've obviously come here for a reason with my best mates. Like, they've obviously supported me through kind of a lot. And this podcast is about, it's hard to explain. It's about basically saying when you need to grow up, because we've all got a bit of a decorator past, to say the least. Probably last night as well, a little bit, in all fairness, how things escalated. But when would you say, lads, that was the moment when you was like, right, shit, I need to stop being an idiot, I need to grow up?
I've not really
It's
had
not
that
quite
moment.
come yet, has it?
I just looked in the mirror one day and realised I'm just a rock star. And that was it. Do you know what I mean? No, seriously though, I don't know, you've got one, yeah.
No, when, oh God, I'm spinning. I'd probably say when we launched, and I was like looking at you as other group, as other friends in the group that are doing good things.
I'll expand
Sorry.
on that. I've always been, it is absolutely useless. Should we just cut him now? Anyway, I've been sort of around that environment, and I watched Ben Bray come up.
Yeah, watching others do the work, you've laid the blueprints, we know what we need to do.
I seen Ben Bray come up. I got introduced to you. You scared living daylights out of me. I didn't think you said one word. I don't even think you blinked at me.
Yeah, I'm quite particular until I know someone. I think that's the best way to put it.
I was like, what is this guy on? Like, I just looked at him, man, and there was nothing. Like, it was just like, it was Ben Bray's show, wasn't it? First time I met you.
Oh yeah.
You were there, and it was just like, oh, whoa, is this guy all right? But then got to know you, and I don't know, I think you're just quiet. But it was that the point when you said to me in Marbella, weren't it? You were like, oh, put your notice in. And I probably should have listened, to be fair. But
Yeah, you
I were a bit
about
like
with that,
stand
didn't
off
you?
it. But as soon as it launched, I was just like, no, this is game on now.
Yeah, I've got a thing going on right now. So where I don't know how many staff I've got now. I think I've got about 18 staff, and at least 12 of them are all my best mates. And I think that's something that I want from my company. Even I could probably definitely hire better people with these reprobates, but if you give them right training, they'll obviously do a decent job. But for example, the podcast this morning's main focus is like kind of coming in and going like, look, at what point do you need to grow up? Because there is a point, like, someone can have talent and someone can have great opportunities, but they can throw their life away very, very, very quickly. And like, I've always been open saying like, look, we've hit some parties hard. Like, we've hit some raves, we've hit some Ibiza sessions, we've come in and we've enjoyed it to kind of max. But there is a certain point where you have to turn around and go, right, look, you have to put business first. You have to kind of put life first, because it will come up and trip you up. Because having a good time is great. Like, there's no point in earning all this money and fucking enjoying business and stuff and everything else on that side if you don't actually enjoy it. But like, for example, like when you're going through the years and you're going back-to-back sessions for 2 days straight, every single weekend, straight into Monday.
Easy.
Oh, God.
No, but I know what you're saying. There's a point in which, like, I think for me is, if you don't do it, who's going to do it? And I think
Yeah,
I
no one's
needed
going to do that work for you. Do you know what I mean?
I spent like years of my life, I were grafting my ass off for corporate companies. And I mean grafting my ass off, but I'd always get the point where I'd do everything that I could for people, and it was just never recognised. And I used to just think, you know what, bro, fuck this. And then I used to just go and get like absolutely wiped out at a weekend, and then just roll in, fuck it off till about Wednesday. And then think, Thursday, Friday, I'll do a little bit. But then it got to Friday, and I'm like, no, it's Friday. Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, I needed the responsibility of having to do it for myself.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's like, I say, well, we spoke about this loads just in a totally different context, to say the least, don't get me wrong. But like, for example, like when you work for yourself, you don't have any work-life balance. Like when you do work for someone else, you can get to Friday and go, right, sin a bit, get fucked. I'm not speaking to you for the next 3 days. But when it's your business, you're like, shit, I can't do that to myself. Oh God, man.
oh shit, man.
I've been trying to delegate my work for like a while now. There's no one fucking picks it up. You know what I mean? No, I think if you look, you've got to love what you do. You've got to love what you do.
You get out what you put in. That's what we said, isn't it?
I speak to a lot of people who think, oh yeah, I want to go self-employed. Yeah, it's all good. But, bro, I sit behind that laptop 16 hours a day some days. And do you know what? Don't bother me.
He's asleep for 8 of them.
Semi-conscious.
Watching NBA for over 8.
No, honestly though, I can sit behind it and like my ass is sweaty as old. Do you know what I mean? It's like proper. I'll have to peel me sen off. But it don't bother me. I love it. But you've got to be like that. That's what I'm saying to you. Like people are just looking. Oh, fucking hell's a weirdo. Him just sits in his bedroom on his laptop all day. Well, yeah, but I love what I do. It's like putting that stuff together. You know, like for him, bro. That
was a good one from you though. That turnaround time.
It's moments like that. Like just it means. Do you know what I mean? Like that's.
Why? What? Are my reels not special or something?
You're specialist, man.
You're special. Don't worry about that.
No, it really does come down to that fact of like, look, whenever you're working for someone else, or if you've not got job satisfaction, you can go into this kind of site. Like we've just been literally sat outside with Michael saying like, look, it didn't feel like I had a purpose, and like that's one thing that you've got to do. Like it doesn't matter if you're working for yourself or working for someone else, but it's just like if you don't actually have purpose in what you're doing, then you are just going to go in circles in life, and you're just going to come back to the same shit and do the same shit. And that's the whole kind of point of this podcast. Like, look, like hitting weekends like we used to do. I'm talking like fucking hell, like Friday to Monday morning straight through for about 2 years at least.
Yeah, but what is that? I think that's just escapism, me.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no other reason, is there? Like I was doing it every weekend because I was just depressed. I had no like purpose. I wasn't getting anywhere. I used to say to Ben Bray all the time, someone can't work this hard for a company and not get rewarded, but that's corporate. They're not bothered about you. You just come up, rock up.
That's corporate life,
do your
isn't
thing.
it? Everyone does the same in a corporate job. Friday comes.
Like literally, now I've got something where what I put in, I get out. Do you know what I mean? And that's what spurs you on even more. Because as soon as you've done something, you're rewarded straight away.
Yeah, it's like I might bring some corporate culture into this friendship group. But it sounds, in all fairness, so how much did you used to get paid? Because I'll drop everyone down now.
So in my job, I run 30 grand a year in my latest job, but I weren't in that for that long. But I always, this is what I mean. Like it winds me up. It proper winds me up because I've always done things like I thought would the good thing to do. Went to uni. Do you know what I mean? Grafted my ass off for a degree. Got a first in sports science. Don't know how. But I did it. Do you know what I mean? But do you know, like I've always grafted and I thought, oh no, it'll come. Bro, I was slinging cylinders about in a gas warehouse after university. But that was because I got decent grades at school. They were like, you're smart. I'm like, am I? Push you down that route. Knowing what I know now, I'd never done it like that.
Thing is, I was like, I can't remember the point was where I turned around and I thought, right, I want to be my own boss. Like because if I, and it sounds really weird, if I didn't do what I do now, I'd be at Marines. Like I 100%. If I did not run my businesses, I'd be out there because the regimentation and the strictness and that obsessive kind of nature is literally what I would do. And it's a case of like the amount of times that like I've turned around and gone like, look, I don't actually generally know where I turned around and thought, right, I don't want to work for no one else. I want to be the guy who everyone works for me. And it's a case of over the years, even when I've got to the point where like everyone works for me, I don't want that mindset. I want everyone to feel like they work for themselves, even though it's part of kind of what we do. And it's just a case of like when you turn around and kind of make that decision, like you hold responsibility. And it's really weird on this one. Like and Stacey knows as well. Like I think about all the times. Like I sometimes turn around and go like, look, yeah, I've done this with business and I'm where I'm in business. But I would 100% go in the Marines tomorrow. And I could be the guy who's getting told what to do. and getting shouted at and been fucking levered left, right, and centre. And I 100% know that I would love that lifestyle. And it's just like when you start stepping into kind of the business world and like life world where you're kind of running your own shit. It's the same mindset. It's just the fact that I have to be the guy who's telling me what to do all the time. Like I don't like, for example, when it comes to when it comes to like business and stuff like that, I have to be that marine within my own business. I have that person who's going like, look, yeah, even though you don't want to work today, you're still gonna fucking work. Even when you come in and do that, you're still gonna do it. And that's why, like, for example, like I know that kind of how I've acted and what I've done has rubbed off on kind of my group and stuff like that. But it really kind of comes down to that fact of going like, look, it's just obsessive regimentation. It is that. It's like when it comes to business, it's just like, right, how consistent can be? How aggressive can you be? How like I like you lads know, like I don't give a fuck. If stuff goes wrong tomorrow, if I lost $100,000 tomorrow, I'll be like, yeah, sound whatever, I'll do something else. And it's just like it's that like kind of obsessive kind of nature to turn around and go like, look, I'm that invested into what I do and why I do what I do. I don't give a shit if there's any risk associated with it. And it's just like, for example, when I go out and I'm partying and I'm hitting every single weekend hard, is I lose that mindset, I lose that regimentation, I lose that guy in my head who's going, no, you're fucking turning up today even when you don't want to. Yeah. And that was the one thing. But I kind of got to the point where I was just like, why am I still doing this? Why am I still like it's self-sabotage where you're going out, you get to Friday. Oh, I ain't got else to do. Sound right. I'm just going to get off my bonds for fucking 2 days straight and then come back in Monday pretending to be a professional again. And you get to a point where it's like, look, yeah, everybody's done it. I don't give a shit. I don't care what I can say. Everybody has done it. Everybody's got to that Friday and everyone's gone through that kind of phase in life. But it's just like, what I want with this podcast is for people to turn around and go like, look, you can still enjoy your life, but you can have a better life. If you just have a little bit of balance for like controlling that little person inside your head who's going, right, yeah, I'm going to take it a bit too far, or right, I ain't got anything better to do in my life on a Friday night than just going out.
Yeah, like to be fair now, right, I don't go out much at all, very very rarely. But when I do, I turn up.
You're gonna do it.
Do it right. That's what it's about though. Like I do enjoy a party. I know. I do enjoy going out, but I might have one a week now. I'm kidding. No, it's once every blue moon now.
Do you know what I think it is?
No, when we're at home, we are a lot more.
Do you know what though? Like since I started doing it, like sporadically, I enjoy it so much more because it's not rinse and repeat. Do you know what I mean? Like I always think, like people who are out every weekend, man, you're just a bit lost, in my opinion. You're just a bit lost. That I know where I were. I know where I were in that. Like I had fuck all going off. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we're out every weekend because I had no else to do. I had no else to live for really, and it was just I was lost. I was just getting through week, get to the weekend, go out, mask all my problems. We're just getting fucking absolutely pasted. For what? You're still gonna turn up to that wherever you are Monday. Yeah,
you might turn up a few days late or something, but other than that.
Well, I mean, I'd be there Monday, but I weren't there until Wednesday.
I think that's something that stopped. Right when you get to that point and you turn around and you're like, right, yeah, I kind of want more from life as well. Like, I'm knackered. I ain't got energy to do it.
Oh no, fuck that.
I'm like, I get to Friday night and I'm like, fuck me, give me 14 hours sleep or something. I'd rather than a 14-hour session.
Honestly, Saturday and Sunday now are just working days for me. 7 days a week.
And like I said, it all comes down to, like, I spoke with a lot yesterday saying like, what's the point? Like, one thing I always do is like, because I obviously I analyze quite a lot of situations and I turn around and go like, what's the point in me doing what I'm doing right now? Like, is there any rationale behind it, or am I doing it just for the sake of it? So, for example, like when you do go out and you start getting into it a little bit, like it's one of them ones. Like, for example, last night it's like, what's the point? What's the point is the fact that like we all had a sick night. Do you know what I mean? And like that's the thing. But the thing is, it's like when it comes to other stuff like that, I know. Especially, do you know when the more I found it is like when I was working with clients and they're becoming and telling me like, oh fucking hell, yeah, I went out this weekend. I'm like, if you felt so shit about going out, like just don't do it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, even though we're pretty rough. We're in Dubai, it's a bit of a one-off. You know, like you said, our weekends now, it's solely back business focused.
Yeah, I'm not going to turn up to a meal where it's all you can drink and not take that challenge.
Yeah, the thing is, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. And we did definitely do it right last night. Jesus Christ.
Not right, all right.
He's still licking his wounds this morning, man. Loads of tequila. I still feel I'm pretty fresh to it. I don't know how I pulled it off 3 days in a row.
Got a sport party to eat.
Yeah. So when you started kind of coming into it, like what do you reckon out of your two? Because say in the last 6 months, both of these lads have both left the full-time jobs. They've both kind of come and pursued kind of something that they want to do with their own life. Like, what would you say that you having going? Obviously, I'm a bit different. I just turned around to them both and went, "Get your fucking notices handed in."
Bro, you honestly, I was so fucking scared me. You know? It's just like, I bought you a camera, yeah. Learn how to use it in 2 weeks, or else.
I think he announced you'd left your job before you did.
What? I don't even know what to. Search it.
I literally turned around to him and I went, get on Google, find a course, and I'll put you through a course. I said, because I said you're leaving your job in the next 4 weeks. And it's like, now I'm not. And it comes back 2 weeks later, and I was like, have you handed notice in yet? And he was like, yeah, I think I need to now.
Yeah, to be fair though, I've been like proper hard on my son. Like proper hard on my son. I was saying to Michael, I'll do something, I'll put something together, and everyone's like, oh yeah, sick. I hate it. I look at it and think that could have been fucking way better. But I have to be true to my son and think, I've been doing this 10 weeks.
Mate, I do even at this point now. So I've been doing this a long time, and I literally the amount of times that I go back and think, right, I could do this. Like for example, we've just like with the academy, we've just launched the whole platform on that. First thing it is, I turned around and went, no, I want this better. Put another 10 grand into it. Or for example, like every consultancy client who I kind of come on board with, I'm like, right, there's actually a better way of us doing this. And that's all that when it comes to like going into self-employed, it is just constant sequential problem solving. You can't come in and know all the answers straight away. And also I had a conversation with Cam Mack yesterday and said, it's not about knowing the answers all straight away. It's the fact that sometimes you're not in a position with your business or from a financial point to kind of invest into what you do know is better. So you have to do the best with kind of what you've got. And it's that's one of the things that I kind of love the most. It's just like, right, when you go and work for somewhere else and you fuck up, they can levy you left, right, and centre.
Nice burp.
They can come in and they can levy you left, right, and centre. But when it's you, it's just like you've got to be the person who turns around and goes, right, shit, I need to sort this out because that's not good enough.
I think people want it too quick, me as well. Like you were like, yeah, 4 week full-time videographer. But I think some people get lost in that. Like I was quite happy to have done what I was doing with 2 jobs and doing it on side for a good 6-12 months. That wouldn't have bothered me. I wanted it that way because I could have just weaned into it nicely.
It was unmanageable though, same as my situation. Like you could not burn the wick at both ends. So at that point you have to back yourself.
And yeah, that were it. It was the scariest transition, that, because I weren't confident in myself. But when you said, and you know it's in originally, I was just like proper bricking it.
I said same to bet like that's one thing that I know. Like when I say when I say something, it happens. Yeah. And I did it. For example, Ben Bray, I turned around to him like first time I met him, and I was just like, I said, right, in 6 months you're going to be doing that type of money. And he was like, fuck off, no chance. And I said, and I just said to him, I said, no.
Yeah,
I said,
he called you a dreamer.
Yeah, and I said to him, I was like, right, you need to hand your notice in. And Ben stretched it out a bit too far. Like, he probably pushed 3-4 months working in his other job where it was a bit risky. But that, like, it really kind of comes down to it. It's just like, I've taken that many risks in kind of life and in business that, like, nothing scares me now. And I like, it's genuinely a skill set. Like it's not something that you can turn around and do tomorrow. It's the fact that like I've been through that many situations where shit's gone south or shit's gone really, really good or it's gone in between or in the middle. It's just like I just can kind of see what is going to happen, and it's one of them ones like, look, if it doesn't actually happen, then so what? Do something fucking else.
Yeah, you got to have that growth mindset, haven't you? That's what I thought. Yeah, as soon as this come, I was like, what even is this? You know what I mean? Like, what's it even doing? What? But I thought, yeah, I'm shy, but I'll learn it. And I think that's what a lot of people are closed books. Loads of people are closed books. Like, something will phase them. They just don't want to write. They just don't want challenge. They don't want to sit there and start off being. Everyone now wants to be straight away perfect at something. I don't know why we live in this mindset that you just pick something up and you great at it straight away. Maybe it's because of.
It's social media. It's a fact of that instant gratification. I spoke about this loads yesterday. Like everybody's searching for that like point of like instant gratification. Like it's like, for example, I went through 5 or 6 years of education before I even took on a single client myself. Like I went through as much kind of investment back into kind of how good I was at my job before I even started thinking about taking money. And it's a case of like nowadays what happens is like you pop up on Instagram, you call yourself something, and that's your identity. And your identity is what you actually fucking do and how good you are at what you do. It's got nothing to do with what the shit that you post about. You know what I mean?
I get that. You just see a lot of people rushing into stuff now. Like you just said, you spent, 5, 6 years? I seen Ben. Man, and this is... I once heard someone called Ben Bray lucky.
Yeah, he walks. I always said that it's Jesus and he can walk on water.
I nearly wrote the red off because don't get me wrong, he's a good-looking lad. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Shout out BB.
Yeah, he's a bit gifted in that area.
Yeah, so he's a good-looking chap. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's same age as me. It looks like he was born yesterday. But at the same time, bro, this is what I always say to people. Like, he's been working on his. We had a conversation about personal brand. He's been working on that personal brand back since he was skinny little boy.
He's still skinny now, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd still write his head off. But
Ben Bray, little bitch, yeah.
But he were like, do you know what I mean? Though we used to go out and get fully at it, bro. I'll be in bed. I'm
coaching.
I'll be in bed. But no, but this is what I'm saying. When we were younger, I'd be in bed next day, like slavering all over Dominoes. Yeah, he'd be in gym with chicken and rice. I'd be thinking, why is he on? What is he doing?
Absolute psychopath behaviour doing stuff like that.
We went honestly every weekend. Like he grafted for that. He grafted for where he looks. I mean, I suppose carved by angels now, isn't it? It's a joke. I mean, to be fair, I reckon he could eat at Greg's for the rest of his life and he'd still be ripped.
Yeah, it's a bit special. I said to him last night, I was like, yeah, I've retired from resistance training. It was he's like, what do you mean you've retired from resistance training? I said, no, I'm past that now. I'm just cycling and boxing now. So he went, what? So you're not going to lift any more weights? And I said, yeah, I'm done with it. And he was like, nah, you'll get back into it. And I said, no, I'm when I say I'm done, Ben, I'm done. Like, if you challenge me, I'm done with you.
What's this?
That's what Jim were doing to me. He was just challenging me too much. I was just like, I can't cope with this. I need something what's going to be a bit different.
It is mad though. Like you've just built everything from being a coach, essentially, haven't you?
Yeah. Like this is what it comes down to that point of kind of reinvestment. It's just like every penny that I've kind of had. So like when I was coaching, it was just like, right, bang, I'm going to invest into kind of mentoring. Right, I've got a bit of mentoring. Right, I'm going to invest into an education platform. Right, I've got an education platform. Now I'm going to invest into business consultancy. I've got business consultancy. Now I'm going to invest back into fucking everything. And that's all it is. It's just like, for example, like the amount of times I've turned around and said, like, I pay myself at absolute bare bones. So what, like the amount of times that on my personal bank account, I nearly miss mortgage payments and miss my car payments and stuff like this because I just don't pay myself. I just
all back into business.
Yeah, I don't need to pay myself. I don't need to have fancy crazy things and stuff like that. It's like the only time that I'll come in and pay for something is when I'm paying something for like Stacey or paying for something for like friends and stuff like that. But like for me, it's like I don't give a fuck about having 100 grand sat in my personal bank account. If I had 100 grand sat in my personal bank account, I'd just stick it straight back into the business. And it's just like that's it. That's something what's like a growth mindset. And I spoke to Cam about it because Cam obviously I've worked with Cam for a while, and he was just like he understands that quite a lot. Like I have got absolutely no emotional investment into finance in any way, shape, or form. I do not care about what a number says. I care about kind of the meaning and what I do with kind of that. And it's like, for example, with you two, when you've kind of come into this, you've picked up on that. It's like straight away you're like, bang, right, I've got that road, I've got £300 bike. Or like with you're coming and going, right, I'm going to invest kind of into content. And that's what it is. Like, you've got to look at kind of growth and life and business and go like, look, it's not about what you have in your bank account. It's about what you can keep doing to keep growing.
Yeah, straight away. That's all I'm thinking about next. Like, I want a better camera. You know what I mean?
Right, is that one not good enough for boat? Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good.
Right, sign this podcast off.
No, it's good. It's good. But I want 2 cameras. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, no, I can't do anything nowadays, can you?
I've got 2 hands, bro. Dual camera set. No, but it's all about investing into. How do you make it better? You invest, don't you?
I think people just want, like you said, instant gratification. They want instant rewards. They want to be rewarded for the work like that, and it's like, don't come like that.
Like, you've
got to invest.
You've got to
6,
literally
12, 18 months before you see anything back.
You've got to like the amount of people who come up to me and go, oh, Ben, you've done this, you've done that, you've got everything. And I just sit there and go, I ain't done fuck all. I said, no, but I do. I said, I ain't done fuck all. I'm getting warmed up. I'm a nobody. And I'll have that mindset all the time. The amount of times I said to Michael, I said to him, like, look, I said, I know that I'm doing shit at my age now, which is 10 years ahead of people who are kind of going to be my competitors. I don't give a fuck. I'm still a nobody. I am a nobody. I don't need to pay myself. I need to pay the business. I need to pay the kind of growth. I need to pay the people around me. And it's like, that's just a mindset that I've kind of always had. Like, it is not about me. And it's never about me. It's about the client. It's about kind of the change. Like, I'm very, very invested into kind of the mental health and stuff like that. And I was like, right, I wanted to kind of create a model where I could have prevention before intervention. So, like, the model that I've got with my business is like, I can legit fucking help thousands of people. I can change. So, for example, like, you've got stuff on like a small level, like with you and Stacey and all those mates who are here now. I said, but the model and reason why I actually why I do what I do and why I created what I do is because I can help someone who's going through a point in life where, like, they don't know what they're doing. I can get them onto an online course and they can come in and change their life. I can come in with business and I can change them and help them on that side. And that's like when I turn around to people and go like, look, why do you actually do what you're doing? I said, I want to change the fucking world. I want to every single person who I come into contact with, whether even if it's I'm doing the nicest thing for someone or I'm even just telling them straight, like, you lads know me, like, I'll turn around and go like, get your fucking shit together, sort it out, do this, and then you'll feel better. Like,
I had a few with them.
Yeah, and it's just, but that's like because I've been on both sides of life. I've been on the side that I'm on now, and I've been on a totally different side altogether. And I kind of
it is hard when you're there, though, innit? It is hard when you're there. You don't see a way out. I did it for years. I didn't see a way out. You come in, brought me that. Like, fucking hell, here we go. And now look at it, like, how happy am I? Like, I love what I do. Absolutely love what I do. Satisfaction out of just putting stuff together. But yeah, I do think you've got to be a certain sort of person, but you've got to be creative. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not happy where I am, but I'm happy with the way I'm going. Do you know what I mean? Like you were coaching, to be fair. All we do is just talk about what we can do
just
to
work,
be better.
It's always about work.
Yeah, but how many times before you did what you did now were you talking about your job?
Oh, never.
Not in a good light, anyway.
No, you never would you? Like that's what I mean. Like, this is what I'm trying to say about, like, work-life balance. Like, I'd stay. Well, I would stay awake for 3 days straight. I've done it fucking many times. If I had something which was needed working on, or I had something which was task, like, I'm that passionate about what I do. Like, I don't give a shit. I literally couldn't care less. I'd just stay up straight and I'd work on it. But it's like when you're doing that for someone else, and you're kind of coming to that point where you're like, what's the point? Like I keep saying on all these podcasts, like, when you're doing it for someone else, and when you're paying someone else, or like when you're in a corporate job or something like that, compared to like when you're doing it for kind of your own business. And this is kind of when I'm hiring staff and stuff like that, that the culture is an equal opportunity.
Nice second burp.
Keep burping.
No, but for example, like it's fizzy like Diet Coke. But it's just like, for example, it's like when you kind of come in and you're working for someone else, it's just like, you're not going to speak about it, you're not going to work on it, you are going to get to a Friday and then start one thinking, right, I'm going to blow it off and all that side. And this is why, like, I'm absolutely obsessed with kind of culture, and every single client I have and every single person in my business kind of knows this. Like, I have an equal opportunity model in every single aspect of my business. and that's genuinely not seen very often in other stuff. Like, the more money the businesses make on the education side and consultancy side, the more my staff get paid.
Yeah, do you know what though with you? There's no hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like you are captain, but but you're not captain at the same time. Like I work with you, not for you.
Yeah. That's that, and that's kind of something that I want to drive through, and it's something that I do with kind of coaching teams. And say, for example, if I take on a company, and the amount of times that I take on a company and I look at the business inside and outside coach, and I turn around and go, right, the biggest problem is you.
Yeah,
you're the issue in this business as the director is you
putting yourself on a pedestal.
Yeah, so you're putting yourself on a pedestal. You think you're special. You think you're important. You think that kind of you are the pinnacle of kind of what it does, but. Like I've said so many times, like the janitor has got has just an important job as the director, because at the end of the day, the director is going to get people in and make sales. But say, for example, someone comes around to office and the toilet looks like an absolute bag of shit. Are they going to come back to that office? No. It's about change. It's about, like, imagine I see, probably because I'm autistic as fuck, but I see business as these cogs. You've got bigger cogs, you've got smaller cogs, you've got these ones kind of in between.
We've all got to turn to work on there.
Yeah, exactly. If there's one little cog in there, what's out, everything's fucked. And it's a case of, like, it doesn't matter if you've got 100 staff, 200, 300, or if it's just, even if it's just you. If those cogs aren't working properly within you, then your business is not going to grow. If you've got a 2, 3, 4 man kind of company team, if there's one person in there who's not turning at the right speed, or if they're kind of out of sync, then everything's fucked. So everybody has to have this point of kind of everyone's on the same line. Everyone's respected the same. Everyone's kind of has the same opportunities.
Yeah, but from my experience, that's way better. You feel part of something. You don't feel like it's your thing and we're just helping you out. It's a collective task together. Do you know what I mean? You get that sort of, I don't know. It's yours as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the amount of times that people turn around to me and go, "That's not a good model." Because I'm genuinely, I will reduce my own profit margins in order to kind of make sure that as the company kind of gets bigger, I could come in and go, right, yeah, you're getting paid $2,500 a month, and like most companies do, they'll turn around and go, right, so that's your job, that's the amount of stuff that you have to do, and I'm like, look, I said, if my team are doing 4, 5 times, 6 times as much work, they're getting paid for that. Then I'm not putting someone on a flat fee for the amount of work that they do. Like, I don't give a fuck about the money that I get myself. It's a case of going, like, look, are these guys invested into it? Like, for example, when I kind of work with coaching teams and I turn around and go, right, sound like I've like, again, some people come in, like, they're paying the coaches 30%, and I'm like, how long is that relationship gonna last? Like, it's got to be equality. It's got to. There can't be any hierarchy. It can't be a case of, right, you're paying you before paying everyone else. Like, if the business performs, everybody's fucking winning.
That's another point and all about people winning. You see too many people out for the sends. How often is this? Just touching on this because it riles me. Like, obviously, I meet a lot of people. Like, my priority isn't to just come in and I'd take your money out and get you some content. Do you know what I mean? I'm not about that. I'm in it because it's like him. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him do well. I want to see him get clients. The main thing off the back of whatever we've chucked together, if that helps you in your business, then that's my job done. But what people don't understand is, like, there's a lot of people who come in and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to charge this, and this. Don't do that. Because what happens in, I don't know, 12 month time? If he starts smashing 300 clients or whatever, I mean, do you know what I mean? That's a stupid figure, but if he starts getting paid that much, who else is getting paid? When one person,
that's one thing with us though. When one of us wins, we all take each other up. Do you know what I mean? We'll never be greedy with it.
That's the thing about people, man. And coming back to what you were saying about chucking someone on a salary and, like, why? Because people are only bothered about profit. A lot of people are only bothered about profit. They just see numbers, don't see people.
Like what we touched on when you're about, like, picking clients up though. If you see a client as solely a sign up and not an opportunity, that relationship won't last. It's you've got X amount of time to help, influence, to transform, to give the person what they need. So same with business. If you treat it as like a nurture as a baby, put in what you get out. If you just see it as, right, profit and loss,
Yeah, it's a journey. Everything is a journey. Like the amount of times that I go for, like, look, when it comes to emails, when it comes to social media, when it comes to business, when it comes to life, it's like the longevity of a relationship will always win. And like, for example, you can come in and you can be greedy, you can be a bit of a dickhead, you can fuck about, and you can end that journey and end that relationship. And then guess what? You're starting again. And it's a case of like, instead, rather than thinking kind of, right, I've got this right in front of me, like, yeah, for example, like in business, one thing I've realized is like in the early stages, especially like the first few years, is like I might be out of pocket compared to what I should be paying myself. But it's the longevity of the people who are working in there and the people who are invested. Where, for example, when it comes to 6 months, 12 months down the line, when it's absolutely killing it, I know that I can take a bit of a step back because I've looked after that person there. Yeah. You know what I mean? In this case of like if you come in and you're just like, right, sound, yeah, all I'm bothered about now is, right, what's turnover? What am I getting paid? It's like all you're going to do is you're going to get to a point where staff are going to feel devalued. Like even like, for example, like your friends, your family and everything. And it comes back to that point of saying like what is your actual meaning to money? If you for example, if your meaning to money is like, I just want shitloads of money, then go and work in a job which is just focusing on money. Go and sell shit. Go and get in stocks and shares. Go and do stuff like that where you're on the phone and you're chasing that shit all day long. But when it comes to kind of other companies, like for example, like this Kybercan, for example, it's like, right, what's the culture behind this? What's the meaning behind it? And the meaning behind it is, for example, like Robbie turned around and was like, right, from my own experiences, like I've had really kind of bad problems with like caffeine reliance and stuff like that. So like the meaning behind this is like, yeah, it's a great product. It tastes mint. It looks mint. It's got all this stuff. And like, for example, this little QR code here takes you to a like kind of hidden program where it's like they're talking through kind of the culture behind it and everything else on that side. But it comes back to that same point of what is the point? The point of this is because the person who made it genuinely wanted to see change where people weren't going to be addicted and relying on kind of caffeinated energy drinks. And that's when it comes to anything that you are doing and anything that you're doing in life and business, like you have to kind of come back to that same thing, like, right, what's the point? Why the fuck am I even doing what I'm doing? Right? And once you've solidified that, everything else will kind of follow afterwards. How you treat staff, how you treat people. Because if you're kind of at that point where you're just kind of going through it, then you're going to be that same person where you lads who've worked for, where you're in that same shit, that same kind of cycle, that same like demotivated state where you're kind of just not going anywhere in life and you're thinking, like, what am I doing?
Weekend, innit?
Yeah, and you start living for that fucking weekend. You start coming in, and it's just a case of like, if you're at a point in life where the highlight of your week is going out on a Friday night and getting absolutely blasted for 2 days straight, then it's not anyone else's fault but yourself.
I didn't even realise how productive a weekend could be. Yeah. How much shit can you get done in Saturday and Sunday? It's fucking phenomenal, isn't it? But you do get in a rut though. Like it is hard to get out of that rut, but once you're out of it, it's fucking sweet, innit? Yep. It really is. Proper sweet.
I'm going to wrap that up there because we've got next episode in now. So, Morgs Online and Smokes Media, well done for actually turning up.
I didn't. You come and get me out of bed.
Yeah, I basically had to go and ask him to come downstairs. I said, look, you've had no sleep now. But, yeah, that was generally a good episode, lads. So, signing out there, yeah.
Yeah, right. Back to bed.
Next Joe Rogan, hit me up. I'll smoke weed on your podcast.